You've been with Nigel Farage for a long time. He was trying to achieve the sort of figures we're seeing tonight. He tried it with UKIP, failed mostly. Tried it with the Brexit Party.
In 2013, we got a couple of hundred.
He did, but in terms of the seats we're looking at tonight, it's almost certain to exceed that.
I would hope so. Yes.
So what's happened now? Why is the breakthrough moment suddenly happened in 2025?
I think there was that breakthrough moment in 2013. We did win a couple of hundred seats, but I think this time the difference is we're lucky in our enemies, aren't we? Badenoch and Starmer. I mean, we are.
So you're saying that
we've got
you're
an
a victim
absolutely
of their
catastrophically failed
non-success.
Conservative government, and the Labour's fallen off a cliff. So we're lucky in our enemies. But I mean, there's reasons for that, and I think the Greens will be picking up as well. The Lib Dems, I suspect, will be picking up as well. There is a pox on all your houses aspect, but at the same time, I mean, the fact that yesterday we had a 100-year-old ceramics firm close in Stafford in the Potteries because of net zero. The net zero thing, we might disagree on this, but the net zero thing is having a significant impact. And I think that immigration is, again, raising as a salient point, and the Tories have lied about it and failed about it 4 or 5 times. Each time they promise, they do the opposite. And Labour, they're not smashing the gans, are they?
Let's just put that net zero point to Zack Polanski, Deputy Leader of the Green Party. This idea that part of Reform's support is being driven by widespread public opposition, anger even, Zack, at the move towards climate-friendly net zero policies. Is that right?
Well, I think it's broader than that. First of all, I think if you cut people who are severely disabled, you cut their benefits, you do the child benefit cap, you continue arming Israel while it's committing a genocide. I think it's understandable.
That's not a big issue in local elections.
Funnily enough, it's been coming up on doorsteps, actually. People, a general sense that they're just totally unhappy with the Labour
Nobody
Party.
votes for their councillor based on foreign policy, surely.
I think lots of people do. I think when you look at the Labour Party and you go, the Labour Party used to stand for something, but this is how far they've fallen. I'm meeting over and over again former Labour Party voters, in fact, former Labour members and councillors who have now joined the Green Party because they want to challenge the Labour Party. I think the Green Party's job here is to make the Labour Party more scared of losing votes to the Green Party than to Reform. Right. And I think that's ultimately how the Green Party is going to push the government.
Honestly, I think if you look at what happened in Redbridge, it's not the Greens who are chasing them, it's the Gaza Independents. Missing it by 1 vote there. I think the Labour is much more concerned about that in the inner cities than they are about the Greens. I'm sorry. Yes, in the university towns, absolutely, the Greens do provide a significant threat. But I think the real threat for Labour in its urban base is not from you, but from the Gaza Independents.
Well, I put the evidence back that tonight in Loughborough Junction and Herne Hill, so in Lambeth, we won with nearly 50% of the vote. Just a couple of weeks ago in David Lammy's constituency, we won with 55% of the vote. We're seeing this over and over again, both in urban and rural areas. There's nowhere the Green Party can't win. What I do take is, I think we've got to find a way to be bolder with our communications. I think we've got to cut through more. I think we've really got to take on this net zero argument because we know actually we have a climate crisis and we also have an inequality crisis. We can tackle both of these things, but actually Reform are largely a party of millionaires serving billionaires, and I think we really need to expose that.
I'm sorry, here we go to the levels of absurdity. Yes, you're right, you can win anywhere, but you just don't. And we seem to be winning everywhere. So if that's a bunch of billionaires, this country must be so terribly rich. If they're all millionaires who are voting for us in Northumberland, in Blythe,
I said your MPs. I said your MPs, not your
billionaires
voters.
Serving millionaires.
Millionaires serving billionaires.
That's your MPs. If they're serving billionaires, then how is it we're winning in Bridgend in Northumberland?
95% of your donations since the general election have come from fossil fuel companies. That's £2.3 million.
That's absolutely tosh.
Well, it's
over 5. No, it's not. You don't count the membership fee. Our main income is from the 230,000 people who've joined the party. So to describe it otherwise is absolute rubbish. It is, in fact, a lie.
Have the party taken £2.3 million in donations from fossil fuel companies?
No, we haven't taken it from fossil fuel companies. We've taken it from individuals. But donors.
That's not what the Electoral Commission says.
I think we only had 230,000 last month, the last quarter. No, our membership fees, over 5 million, has come from people paying 25 quid. 25 quid. Ordinary people. Darn sight more ordinary people supporting us, joining us, and clearly campaigning and voting for us up and down the country.
What I don't deny is that people are voting for you. The evidence that's coming through tonight is very clear.
Yes.
But that's sort of counterintuitive given what you're saying, Zack, which is if you think that the Reform Party is serving the interests of the wealthy. Clearly, millions of British people disagree, and they actually think that the Reform Party is more likely to serve their needs than the Greens, clearly.
So I think that, you say that we're not winning elections. Actually, we're the only party who have made net gains in the last 7 years.
You're not going to get.
Let's talk about the last 10 months.
You're not going to get as many votes as Reform. So Reform is offering something, clearly, that you currently aren't to a lot of people.
Well, I think we've just seen what's happened. So they can say all sorts of things. They can tell all sorts of stories. What we will have now is elected representatives who people can be held to account. And I don't believe this Reform surge will maintain itself.
Like the magnificent example of Bristol. I'm sorry. The fact is, you're claiming that we're millionaires and billionaires. Millions of people.
It's a fact.
It's not a fact. I've just explained.
Highly wealthy people,
some of them.
Not?
Some of them are, not all.
Okay. Well, you've only got
not
4.
All. So what? Lee comes from a Labour background. He's a miner. He then was a charity worker, then a councillor, and then got elected. They're not all millionaires, mate. They're not. And this is a false narrative that you and the Labour Party keep pushing. It's just not true. Our money comes from ordinary men and women up and down the country who are working their socks off up and down the country to get elected tonight. And by gum, it's working.
Gawain, who do you think that you are more of a threat to, as in you, as in the Reform Party, the Labour or the Conservatives? You will say, and Nigel Farage will say, I want to do both. I want to, go both. But where are you really aiming to try and take this?
I think, honestly, we are an electoral threat to Labour, as is being seen by the results tonight. But we're an existential threat to the Tories. To the Tories, it could be good night, goodbye. And I don't think we can do that to Labour. I think Labour, you might be able to, but we can't.
I speak to some people, though, in the Reform Party that do want to see eventually a pact with the Conservative Party.
Have you?
Yes.
Who?
Oh, I can't possibly reveal.
I honestly have not. Sorry, I understand that, but I have not heard anybody internally.
I was surprised too.
I've not heard all publicly.
Sure, and they have not said that publicly. Would you, ever think that is something that is on the cards? Because obviously,
it is certainly not on the cards.
If obviously it's not on the cards right now, why would it be?
No,
Reform are on the up, and what's the point, right?
Also, we don't trust the Tories. Look what they did to the Lib Dems. I just do not see any benefits. And it's interesting, publicly, it's only Tories who are saying it. Now, of course, we need, because we lack certain levels of experience, we need to talk to people who've had experience with government. We need to talk to people that's why Farage was talking to Truss, that's why Farage was talking to Cummings and things of this sort.
Is Liz Truss the person whose advice you want on how to run a government?
Maybe how not to do it. But the point being is we need to talk to people of goodwill, who see that we are getting there, who have experience of dealing with the civil service, experience of trying to deliver and trying to go through that, the blob and all the rest of it. That is sensible. People of goodwill will talk. If people see that, I've had a couple of senior Tories who come to me and said, look, it looks like you're going to win Derbyshire, say. Maybe you need some help here. Not that we're going to join you, but I don't want to see Derbyshire go down the pan.
Locally,
you don't know what you're doing. You need that decision.
That definitely seems to be the case. And, we had Ben Spencer on, the Conservative Shadow Science Minister earlier, who, could not answer Ben's question about why on earth there's the idea of doing a local pact, helping each other out locally, but not nationally. What's your sort of take on why you feel...
I think local government is very different.
Is it? So you're happy to jump into bed with the Conservatives at local government?
In my perfect world, at least at sort of town, parish level, I wouldn't have parties at all. Because I think it's very much focusing on the very local
Well, we're
issues.
not in the world of...
But we're not in my perfect world. But, if you see a situation, I think this guy, Farage said, we might do deals at local level, but only at a very high cost to the Tories or to whoever.
There is a scenario, Gawain, isn't there? And it might be feasible, it might even be likely at this point, in which you get more seats than the Conservatives in the next general election. Combined, that is enough to form a government. Nigel Farage as Prime Minister, he does a deal with the Tories. Clearly he would.
He's done a deal with the Brexit Party before.
Exactly.
Does not stand.
That wasn't a deal with the Tories. That was to keep Stark.
But if it makes him Prime Minister, he'd be mad not to do it.
That's something to think about after the general election. We're absolutely not going into a general election in any way, in any shape or form with that in mind. I think there's a...
It's not.
It is a big deal for the media, and particularly Labour, it seems, because they always seem to say is we're doing deals with the Tories, but not. But I think that, as I say, people of goodwill continue to talk. Of course they do. I talk to Lib Dems sometimes.
Yes, but it's not about talking, though, is it? It's a lot of voters, a lot of reform
people
voters,
will want to know.
On the right, a lot of Conservatives.
Say we're on 26% and the Tories are on 22%.
Exactly, it makes electoral sense.
No, it doesn't. Because if you add 22 and 26, you don't get 48. You get about 32. Because a lot of Tories will say, no, we don't want anything to do that, we're going to Lib Dems. A lot of our people, we joined you, we support
Because
you.
we don't want
You're
the other guys,
not
absolutely.
the Tories.
Yeah.
So
But 32 is still bigger than what Keir Starmer's on right now. So, it might be
it
the
is,
price
but
of
that's-
keeping him
But
out.
so what you're
That's
saying
actual
is
mathematics.
it doesn't
I think we've got
it doesn't
4 years to go.
it doesn't make sense to be honest about it before the election, but it's
It's not
something
a
you
question
might
of
well
being
do.
honest. We have look, we want to win. We want to win outright.